Hello and welcome to IAMC TV Radio. We've got a lot to explore today, January 1st, 2025. Let's jump into some of the top news headlines. We'll start in Nigeria.
Okay.
Seems like after 13 years, history is back as a required subject.
Wow, so both primary and secondary schools now.
You got it.
Interesting. I wonder what brought that about.
Well, some are connecting it to, I guess, what they see as declining moral and civic values.
Makes sense. You don't really know where you're going if you don't know where you've been.
Right. And they're serious about this, too. They've already shortlisted 3,700 history teachers for training.
Wow, that's a pretty big commitment.
Yeah. And speaking of commitments, Nigeria's also been putting resources into their railway system. But it sounds like they're having some trouble.
Oh, really? What's going on?
Well, the Abuja Kaduna train line was supposed to be this safer, more efficient way to travel.
Yeah.
Compared to the roads.
Right.
But there have been, well, some obstacles.
Oh, I see.
The e-ticketing platform, all that new technology has been having issues, technical issues.
Oh, no, really?
Yeah, and there are even allegations of staff, sabotaging the system.
Intentionally. Wow.
Yeah, and you'd think that with a modern system like that, no more ticket scalpers.
You would think, yeah.
But guess what?
Still a problem.
Still a problem.
That's frustrating, and I bet it causes a lot of hassle.
More than just hassle. Think about the security risks, too.
Oh, yeah, true.
There's this passenger, Suleiman Daylop. He paid for his ticket online, right?
Okay.
Gets to the station, and the system, it rejects his NIN, his national identification number.
So he couldn't even get on the train?
Nope, had to buy another ticket. More expensive, at the counter.
Oh, what a mess.
And then you think about, duplicate seat numbers. It's all kind of a mess. This software engineer, Kemedy Johnson, she's been posting about these issues on social media.
Trying to bring some attention to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a worrying situation for sure.
It is.
So what else is going on in the world?
Let's go international, huh?
Oh.
Ivory Coast. They've decided to, expel French troops from their country.
That's interesting. It seems like we're seeing a pattern here.
What do you mean?
Well, Ivory Coast is actually the 6th African nation that's done this recently.
In recent years, yeah.
Yeah. It seems like there's a bigger trend here. African nations kind of reassessing their, military relationship.
With their former colonial powers.
Exactly. And they're looking for different partnerships to handle their security issues.
Makes you wonder where things are headed.
It does.
All right, let's move on to the U.S. We've got some big news there.
Oh, what's happening?
Well, legally and financially, things are getting interesting.
Okay, I'm all ears.
So, first of all, a federal appeals court. They've upheld a $5 million verdict.
Against?
Former President Trump.
Wow.
In a case involving, sexual abuse and defamation.
Oh.
Writer E. Jean Carroll.
I see. So that case is finally resolved then.
Seems like it. Meanwhile, over in the world of money.
Yeah.
Billionaires.
Oh, yeah. Who are we talking about?
Well, the usual suspects. Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg. They're still at the top.
Not surprising. They've been dominating the rankings for a while now.
Yeah, 2024, still holding strong.
Yeah.
But not everyone's having such a great time.
Oh. Who's struggling?
French luxury goods.
Luxury goods, really?
Yeah, those magnates, they've taken a bit of a hit, financially speaking.
Interesting. Any particular reason why?
Sales, they're down.
Yeah.
Especially in the Chinese market.
That makes sense. China's a huge market for luxury goods.
It is.
So a slowdown there would definitely impact them, yeah. A big impact for sure. It just goes to show you how global economics and politics can really shake things up, even for the wealthiest people.
Yeah. Speaking of politics, things aren't looking so good in Georgia right now.
What's happening there?
Their outgoing president, what's her name? Salome Zurabichvili.
Yeah, I know who you mean.
She's refusing to step down.
Seriously. But her successor's already been sworn in, right? Mikhail Kavalashvili.
That's right, but she's not budging.
Wow. There must be more to this story. Is it just a power grab, or is there something else going on?
Well, Kavalashvili's win, it's been highly contested.
Contested? How so?
Allegations of electoral fraud.
So there are doubts about the legitimacy of the election?
Exactly. And there are concerns about the ruling party, becoming more authoritarian.
I see. So this situation in Georgia, it's not just about one person refusing to leave office. It's about something potentially bigger, something that could affect the whole country.
You got it. Okay, let's shift gears back to Nigeria for a minute.
Okay.
There's a really concerning story there.
What happened?
It involves, security challenges and the police.
Okay, I'm listening.
So, a Catholic priest, he was kidnapped.
Kidnapped? Where?
Anambra State.
Yeah.
And the priest who helped get him released, he had to pay the police.
Pay the police? What do you mean?
1 million naira for their help.
Wait, so the police demanded payment to rescue a kidnapped priest? That's unbelievable.
I know. This priest, Reverend Father Emmanuel Obima, he also goes by Father Ebube Muonso, he said the police told him they just didn't have the resources.
To conduct the rescue.
Yeah. He even said, and I quote, "This is a state where we have a governor who receives security votes, but it is individuals who are now funding security."
Wow. That's a powerful statement, and it really points to a disturbing reality. You have a government that's supposed to provide security for its people, but it's failing to do so.
Exactly. And individuals are left to fend for themselves.
Yeah.
It makes you think, doesn't it?
It does. It makes you question the priorities of those in power.
To wrap up our news segment for today, we have it's a sobering report from Ukraine.
Oh no, what happened?
Early New Year's Day, a Russian drone strike hit Kyiv.
Oh no, were there any casualties?
Sadly, yes. 1 person killed, 6 injured.
That's terrible.
And some residential buildings were damaged as well.
It's a reminder that even though it's a new year, the conflict in Ukraine is far from over. So many lives are being affected.
You're right. The need for peace is more urgent than ever. Well, we've covered a lot of ground today, from education and transportation in Nigeria to shifting global alliances, political turmoil in Georgia.
And those financial ups and downs, yeah. It's amazing how all these events, they seem so different, but they're all connected in a way.
It really shows you the complexities of the world we live in, the challenges we face, but also, the opportunities. What really stood out to you from all of this?
I keep thinking about those African nations reevaluating their relationships.
With the former colonial powers, right?
Yeah. I think it speaks to a larger shift that's happening globally, a desire for more autonomy, more self-determination. I'm really curious to see how those new partnerships develop and what kind of impact they have, both regionally and internationally.
It's definitely something to watch. For me, I was particularly struck by the news about history being brought back into the Nigerian school curriculum.
Oh yeah, that's a big change.
It makes you think about the role of education, how we understand the world.
Absolutely. Learning from the past, it's essential for navigating the present and the future. It's like you said earlier, you don't know where you're going if you don't know where you've been.
So out of all these headlines, what do you think? What's the main takeaway for our listeners?
Well, I think it's a call to action, a call to be informed, to be engaged, to be proactive. We're not just passive observers in this world. We all have a role to play in shaping the future.
Whether it's supporting education, advocating for change, or just staying informed about what's happening around the world.
Exactly. It's about recognizing our interconnectedness, and working together to create a more just and equitable society.
Very well said. Thank you for listening to today's top news headlines on IAMC TV Radio.
Yeah, absolutely. We really can make a difference.
As you think about all these headlines, I want to leave you with a thought.
Okay.
How might these global shifts and the things we talked about today, how might they actually impact your life in the coming years?
That's a good question.
It is, right?
The world's always changing. Understanding these trends, these events, it helps us make sense of it all.
And make better choices.
Right, about our own roles, in shaping the future.
Exactly. Well, that's all the time we have for today.
Already?
Yeah, it flew by.
It did.
Thank you for joining us on IMC TV Radio for this look at today's top news headlines.
It's been a pleasure.
And to all our listeners out there, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.